Christians. In these two verses here in John chapter 9, verse 24 and 25, the Pharisees are befuddled, to say the least, and they refuse to allow this blind beggar who was healed of his blindness by Christ. They refuse to accept the goodness of Christ and the mercy that he showed to this man as being of anything that is divine, of divine origin. Now, in verse 24, it says, "So the Pharisees again called the man who was blind and said to him," notice this, they said to him, "Listen, give God the glory. We know that this man is a sinner." Now, Christ had healed this man, and the Pharisees are telling the man to give God the glory by saying that the man who healed him is a sinner. So the blind man who was healed by Christ, he then says, "Whether he is a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing that I do know is that I was blind and now I see." Now, the force of what this blind man is saying, who can now see, the real force of what he's saying in the original language was basically like that: I can't go along with you in your assessment of him as a sinner. This is really what he's saying in Greek. I can't go along with you. I couldn't see from the moment I was born, and now I do. And you want me to side with you to say that this man who healed me, there's something evil about him. Now, we see this as Christians a lot. We know what God has done for us. And yet you find unbelievers coming to us challenging the existence of God when we know what he's done for us. But they know we've changed, but they don't know how. They don't know how. And they try to convince us, well, there's no proof of God. There is no evidence of his existence. But they do know something about you has changed. And they want to attribute it to anything other than that of God. Because by doing so, then they would have to admit that there's something to God. There's something there. And they do not want to deal with that responsibility. That's how wicked minds work. Be provoked, be persuaded, and continue